This week on The Chef's Cut, we're talking with Top Chef winner Tristen Epps about his path from McDonald's to Michelin and how he's representing different cultures in his food. He's telling us about the compliment he loves getting from Top Chef fans.
I had so many people reach out to me from different cultures and say, like, thank you for representing me.
What he learned from his time working at McDonald's.
I took the word fast food very seriously. It was like, how much faster can I make this double cheeseburger?
And he tells us how he got out of work to celebrate his birthday.
I actually went into Open Table, booked the last 10 tables myself so that we wouldn't have any more reservations.
Before we get started, Chef's Cut Nation, we need 10 seconds of your time. Please don't forget to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. It helps a lot. So Tristen, we're going to introduce a new segment today because I love new segments, and I think you'll both like this segment name, On the Fly.
That's wildly reasonable for you.
Thank you. And as you both know, I'm not always the most reasonable person, but I thought this would be a fun segment we could do to ask you a few kind of like hot button on the fly questions that we have before we get into the full get to know Tristen session. Is that cool
Sure.
with you?
It's
Okay,
cool
great.
with me.
So I want to know, you won Top Chef this year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you go back to do an all-star season, or would you go to do Padma's show, America's Culinary Cup?
Oh, you know what? I think I'd probably go back to do an all-star season first.
So you won last year. So this is the first season that is on where you're not on. So you're coming down off that high of watching yourself win Top Chef. Are you watching this year?
I am watching. I have friends that are on the show, which is usually what kind of brings me like back to Top Chef. Like, honestly, I don't think I watched Top Chef for a little bit of time until I saw Adrienne go on. So that's what made me start watching again. But yeah, now seeing it outside of me being there is it is a wild
Super weird,
outer
right?
body experience. It's a really wild outer body experience.
Now that you know how the sausage is made.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I get to see a little bit of it, but I mean, the season is, I mean, do you guys look at it and say like our season was way better than that season? Like, do you like, man, we would have smoked you guys? Like, is that a thing that you guys ever thought?
I didn't
can't
watch
speak
it
for-
after our season.
Yeah, because she would think that all the fucking time. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's so hard to like put it into context, right? Because sometimes you're like, man, I would like kill this challenge. I would crush
Right.
them in this. But then it's like, you have to remember, it's like, it doesn't feel like this when you're cooking it.
No,
It's easy when you're sitting there judging it. You're like, dude, I would have just done this, and I would it would have been lights out. Like I would have sent them
Right.
packing.
I'll couch quarterback the fuck out of something.
Yeah. But it's hard to like get the same. I felt like watching the season after mine. I remember like watching it with my wife. She's like, it's just hard to get as excited. She's like, we watched like, it's like you could say they're as good or not as good as whatever. It's like, but there's not really going to be a more exciting season than like watching yourself on it because it's like crazy and you know everyone on it and you know every detail. So it's like the next season is like a weird come down of you're just like, oh yeah, I know a couple people on this. This is fun. This is cool.
I don't know. Mine wasn't as high as yours was, Joe, because remember what happened in the finale? I lost. So
Tristen and I.
So it was like this season, and then I was like,
it's hard.
I was like, oh. Yeah, you guys can't relate to the second place club. I need to get Nina Compton back in here.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You know what I mean?
We ganged up on Joe when we had Nina on. So now I guess 2 winners, fine.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You have your time.
Mm-hmm.
So Tristen, who do you think is going to win this season of Top Chef? Who's your prediction for Top Chef this year, and who's your prediction for America's Culinary Cup?
So I haven't watched America's Culinary Cup yet. so for Top Chef, I think there's a lot of really cool strong competitors. I think Lawrence is a really strong competitor. I mean, I would be biased not to say my boy Anthony is not a strong
Yeah.
competitor. I feel like I trained him well and put him through hell. I mean, there is like Rhoda seems to be on fire, and she's got that I don't know, she reminds me a lot of you actually. She's a little intense. Um
Me or Joe?
oh, Adrian.
Yeah.
See, nobody knows the kitchen side of me. We'll get back to that later
Oh no,
because
we're no no
I'm,
no.
I'm a little.
We're gonna get right into that shit.
We're gonna finish this
You're
damn
running.
segment if it's the
Yeah.
last thing I do though. So
Yeah,
you
like a
said
little bit of
Rhoda,
intensity, but
Anthony.
yeah.
Nice.
Lawrence is really cool. I think there's like some sleeper and like Dwin. Like I said, it's an outer body experience, and to see how it things. There's people who like peak really high and then like die, and then there's people who like sneak up little bit by little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Once again, I don't know. I dominated the entire season, so I could just say like
That's right. It was like Tristan was like a little quiet, maybe challenge one or two. I can't remember, but you just like crushed it the whole season. It was just like, okay, this is another like Paul Quee season where like I think Tom said that in one of the seasons before, like when Paul Quee was competing, it was like you just knew he was going to win the entire time. And I think that's kind of how you were the whole season. Like people kind of expected you to win. So, one more question. If you could go toe to toe with anybody from Top Chef, past winners, competitors, who would you want to go toe to toe with in a finale?
pride wise, it would be. I mean, it would be Buddha or Michael. Just like vibes wise, it would be probably like Nina.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael Voltaggio or
Voltaggio, yeah.
okay. Yeah, that would be a damn good matchup, I think. Ooh, all three of you like death match.
So you're the first person we've had on who's worked for Adrienne.
Am I?
So I gotta ask, what was it like working with Adrienne at Red Rooster, working for Adrienne? How's she in the kitchen? It's like, because I know her as a competitor, and like you said, she's a little intense. I think people think that Adrienne is like this very sweet, bubbly person, but it's like she is straight. Like that hair goes back tight, and it is like
The
it is
bandana
battle
goes
time.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tristan
Mhm.
was with me in my bandana era.
The
Yep.
bandana days. So I think it was a cool kind of experience because so when Adrian started, you were at Streetbird. You originally came on to like kind of help Streetbird, right? And so it was me and another sous chef at Red Rooster, and Red Rooster is just a beast, right? Like 400 something covers a night, like lunch was 200 covers. And we had this like Wild West, like it's like nothing else. We curse, we sing, we speak Spanglish on the line. It was a lot of that. And so when Adrian came in, like she was coming from Le Bernardin, and like I don't know if you were like necessarily used to like such high volume. It's so fast.
No, absolutely not.
Watching her watch us like expo and like run food and just like scream all day was like she thought we were insane. So she came in trying to like structure us, which we kind of needed, but we were like organized chaos.
Yeah.
And like she showed me some things that actually like I still do to the day. Like I still write directly on tables with dry erase markers, and like
Aw.
she brought this like calmness and not like fear, but like this like let's bring it like she tried to make us quieter.
It didn't work. I can tell
it
you
didn't
it didn't
it
work.
didn't work. It didn't work, but it did create some sort of structure because like we were just in this like really weird transition time at the time, and
Yeah.
she was like the most permanent chef with us at the time, and it was I don't know, it was really cool, but like no one ever had any problems, no one ever had anything. She hated shredded cheese for the cheese sauce, like it was her one thing where she would like pull rank on. Like, I'm not shredding any more fucking cheese for this cheese sauce.
No.
And I
No.
strictly remember her having to like, we had like the big Hobart like cheese grater, and her having to like completely like put all her weight on the top of it to like get all this like super like, I mean, we shredded like 70 pounds at the time, like of just one type. And it was,
Yeah.
I remember that. It was a cool experience
My
though. I
elbow
think
is
we,
still messed up from that Hobart, from that attachment where you have to push it into the front of the machine.
yeah,
But that was a cool experience. I remember getting there and meeting Tristen, and I knew about Tristen and meeting Marcus on The Taste, the TV show he did before back in the day. And it was a cool experience. And it was definitely an intense time. But it is weird to think like, I'm going to see you later in life. Like we used to work so many hours. There was this one banquette down in the dining room in the basement called
ta-
Jenny's. It was like a speakeasy. There was this
table
one
90,
table.
table 90,
It had a curve so you couldn't see it when you walked in. And we would like alternate who's going to take a nap
yeah,
down on table 90.
table 90.
That was an intense time. But let's get back to a little bit of Top Chef because I do want to know the food that you cooked during the season was very evocative of your culture and your background Caribbean, Trinidadian, kind of Pan African, different flavor profile than I know you cooked for a lot of your career. Like you worked at Per Se. That's very different. You've worked in different countries, but mostly in fine dining. Was Top Chef the first place you really got into Caribbean cooking, like Nina Compton, or had you been doing it before?
I had been doing it before. I mean, when I started working at Rooster, it was the first time I could actually put Caribbean food on a menu. Like I was actually encouraged to lean into it. But yeah, for the first part of my career, it was like, fast food and like really casual, and then got into fine dining by lying through my teeth. But then like worked in Italian restaurants, French restaurants, worked in an Armenian restaurant for a little bit. And then I worked at the Greenbrier, where it was just like all ACF focused and Bocuse d'Or focused, and I mean couldn't be further from Caribbean as a standard at all. And so when I finally got to start doing it, like at Rooster, it was a breath of fresh air. And then I was like, I really need to kind of like develop this and hone this. And so getting on Top Chef, like my one promise to myself was like, do what you want, like do what feels right per challenge. And most of the time it was just like, let me show culture, let me show people, like let me show those dishwashers and those line cooks that I worked with, like their food just wasn't getting that sort of like high at the time. And so I was just really excited to do that, and I was like, no matter what, I'm just going to do that. If I go home for something for cassava, then I go home for cassava today.
Right.
Like,
But at
Right.
least it's something that you believe in.
yeah,
Right. I think that's like one of the biggest things. It's like going into it. It's like, all right, if I'm gonna go out, like I'm gonna go out on my own terms, right? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go
yeah,
out with my boots on, like
yeah,
and I think like that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't get. It's like, yeah, it's okay. They're like, oh well, they should. It's like, yeah, but it's like you gotta cook what you cook, and you gotta stick to your guns. You gotta like, you know what I mean? Like have that like what you want to show and tell that story and have that point of view. I think is so important, and it's such Top Chef such a unique thing to be able to do that, right? To be able to
yeah.
like show your voice time and over again, and to have to like also figure it out on the fly of like, oh yeah, what is my perspective of this thing here right now?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. And there's one thing that like we've talked about before. For people who've won, come in second or third on Top Chef, there's a lot of misconceptions about what does and does not change. So, what for you after winning last season of Top Chef? What changed? What didn't change? And what was your expectation for what it would be like?
Uh, So, I mean, we all know there's that like waiting period from when we're done filming, especially like, depending on, and especially if like, like all of us were in finales, right? So it's like, man, we're about to blow up after this. But there's that like 6 month period of anonymity where you're just like, man, I'm still kind of a piece of shit. And like,
Yeah,
until like, you just wait until you know who I am.
right.
And, and,
When I come back to this Whole Foods next time, y'all are gonna know.
you're gonna know who I am
Yeah,
exactly, and why I knocked over that whole thing of apples. There's a reason.
yeah,
Um, You know, and so but once everything kind of went, what changed for me was not that I've never been supported, but, like, the support for the culture, like, all the DMs of just like, "I can't believe you did this with this cuisine," and, like, I had so many people reach out to me from different cultures, like, from Venezuela, like, "I can't believe you made a cachapa, never thought I'd see that on a competition, like, can't believe you did pone for the finale, like, can't believe you did pepper pot." Like, just so many cultures, and it was really great to kind of see everyone kind of come together and say, like, "Thank you for representing me." And, like, no, like, there isn't just, like, a bunch of agents and, like, managers and people lining up and, like, throwing deals at you and stuff, like, you know, it starts off with this, like, "Hey, can you make an appearance?" Like, "Hey, can you come?" Like, you know, other chefs being like, "Let's do, like, a dinner together," which is honestly the funnest part, like, you know, it's just like cooking with your friends that you were cooking against the entire time, cooking with chefs that you've always wanted to be around, cooking with past season people, and like, you know, bringing those worlds together. But like, yeah, I don't know if people think that like as soon as like episode 1 or episode 14 airs that like all of a sudden you're like a demigod and like the culinary scene, like, you know, it
Right.
takes a
You only
second,
fly
but
private now, and you know it's just yeah.
yeah, exactly, right? Like, we just have, like, you know, like, like, I don't know, air frying pan that we just fly through and, like,
Right.
I don't know,
Right.
like, I mean, I think the best thing is we probably eat really well afterwards, right? Like, we're no, like, you know,
That's true.
we're not short of probably good dinners, but, I
Yeah.
mean
But it is a wild experience because it's like, you know, whatever day of the week it is when you're like filming, it's like you win Top Chef like on a Wednesday night, you know what I mean, at 1 a.m. And it was
yeah.
like I was running someone else's kitchen at the time. So it's like I won Top Chef Tuesday night. Me and Adrian went out and partied Wednesday with everyone. Like I was back at work on Thursday, like running
Right.
service after
Right.
being gone for 2 months and everybody just being like, so what the fuck, man? You know, like
Right.
where have you been? And it's like, yeah,
It's
no,
like,
like
get
I
back in the
can't,
kitchen.
like, so I had to like sit everybody down, and I was like, listen, I left, I went and filmed Top Chef. I can't tell you anything else. If you've had any questions, if I can't answer them, I will answer them. I go, but we're not going to talk about this all day, every day. You'd ask me what I won, we'll talk about it. But it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
and then it was just like I worked all summer, and then they didn't announce it. Like they didn't announce we were on the season till like the fall, so it was just kind of like sitting around like, this is weird. Like, you know, like I know this thing is coming and nobody else does. And I'm just like going to work, going to the farmer's market. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I remember I did an event. I think I was in Florida and I was like helping like in Boca or something and I was doing a favor for Marcus. And like it was a sponsored event by like Kraft or something like that and there was like a Taco Bell thing. And I was just like sitting there making 150 Crunchwrap Supremes and I was like, "Man, I won Top Chef and I'm fucking making like
hell
Crunchwrap
yeah.
Supremes right now, right? Like James Beard nominee, like winner of Top Chef, and I'm making Crunchwrap Supremes and handing them out to people, like
Right.
crushing it right now."
Dude.
That's the part that people don't see.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I think like you nailed it. It's like everybody thinks it's like, oh yeah, you won, and then there's a million these and a million that. And it's like, no, it's like you won. And I think you stated it so well. Like I think everyone expects there's a validation of winning of like, oh, you're Top Chef, so now you're this level. And I don't think like if you're looking for the validation there, it's not going to come. The validation is those people reaching out and being like, hey, what you did was awesome, or I loved your story and that. And you being like, all the work I've been doing on cooking and being able to try to tell my story through food or tell a story through food, like people do want to hear it. And I think that's like the greatest piece of validation you get from it, of like this dream that, you know, I think we all had of like opening our own restaurant one day, doing our own thing, and having that platform to be like, oh, people want this, right? Because like always
Yeah.
in the back of your head, you got to convince yourself that like, oh, I'm going to open something and like people are going to show up. Like
Hmm.
people are going to want to eat my food, right? Like hopefully every day for a super long time. And I think that's the one, you know, really big thing about, you know, going on Top Chef and winning Top Chef, where it gives you that big boost of like, okay, I'm not the only one who wants to see this. I'm not the only one who wants to eat this. I'm not the only one who, you know,
Who
is
thinks this is
interested in
important?
what I'm doing. Yeah, or thinks it's important.
It's such a great platform to put out different types of cuisine and show a unique perspective, even if it's something that people may have seen a little bit before. Nobody has your background, Joe, or your background, Tristen, to be able to bring all the pieces together in that way. And it is really validating for people to say, like, oh, you were doing this, but you changed it. This is like you have a distinct style, you have a distinct point of view. And it is so validating when people are like, I was so excited to see that. You did spoon bread with sea urchin. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like that was like, I would have never thought I saw somebody do spoon bread on Top Chef. It's like, that is such a cool feeling to know that people connect with it and it makes them feel like their culture and their food is just as good and just as serious as any other cuisine.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like to ask, and Joe and I have talked about before, is what is some advice that you wish you had gotten going into Top Chef?
So the advice that I got, I think I got the advice that I needed, but I would say the advice that I wish more people know is to keep yourself active. Like keep yourself like to work out. Like any shot you get was to like to work out. And because right, like I don't know, I mean, I think everybody by now knows like we don't have shit. Like you're in complete solitary confinement, like and you guys were like roomies, like you guys had roommates, like you guys lived together. You were in that era. Like I was
Yeah,
lucky to have
I
my
was
own,
on an IKEA bunk bed on the bottom bunk.
you know, I, I was lucky enough to, my season was lucky enough to have like we all had our own apartments, which was good and bad, right? Like so you were, after a day of adrenaline, you just get thrown into a room and you're just like, all right, now go to your room by yourself. And you're like, but I have
I
Oh,
so
don't
much
want
to
to
that's
go to my
tough.
say.
room.
Right, like I have so
Yeah.
much to say and so much to do. And like, I just like, you don't have the normal wind down thing. So it was like learning
Mm.
to like take care of your body and work out or do something active, something to like bring yourself down when you don't have everything was like a really good advice that I was given and that I used. I've never stretched so much in my life.
Mm.
Uh, Also going to the gym, there was a TV in there and ESPN was always playing. So I use that a lot as an excuse to go to the gym.
That's smart. That's smart.
They wouldn't take us. There wasn't a gym since we were all living in a house. So Adrian and I, we had another system of saying sharp while we were out there, where after the cameras left, we would just drink bottles of wine till 2 or 3 in the morning to keep
Thanks
us
for
like
that. They put a limit
super,
on us.
It's a
so
real good stretch
super,
of the arm.
super. Just like we just kept us dialed. You know what I mean?
Right?
Just kept us super, super dialed.
25-ounce
Super sharp.
curls.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
You
Kept
got
our
it.
faces nice and puffy for the next morning. It was great.
Hell yeah. But that's true. I hadn't thought about being in your own apartment. It's like, on one hand, that's awesome to have your own space and not have to like be around everybody. But it is nice to have that little bit of time to decompress together and have
Yeah.
somebody to kind of like vent. It's like after a shift in a kitchen, you want to like vent. Like Tristen, we used to go out for drinks sometimes after work, and it's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you need to get it off your chest and like, can you believe this? This happened. It's like, oh man, you need that moment with other people. Otherwise, you're just sulking in it.
I will say the awesome thing about it was too, when we lived in the house, is like when we would hang out like post cameras, it was like, so there were no cameras, no phone, no anything. So people were telling crazy stories because it was like, nobody's going to remember this. You can't look it
Yeah.
up. You can't write it down. So I could
It's
tell.
not going to make
So it
any
was like,
edits.
yeah, like it was like, there was no more truthful things and like wild things that I've ever heard, that like 1 a.m. was sitting on the floor of that Top Chef house, drinking wine with Adrian and a couple of the other people, where it was just like, doesn't matter. You can't figure out who these people are we're talking about because you have no way of looking it up, and you won't see your phone for another month and a half.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
You can't
it was some
record.
wild times.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That was awesome.
nah, we just got thrown. We just got thrown into a room, and once again, it was nice. Like we could cook for ourselves. It was really cool, and I kind of use that a little bit to my advantage a lot. But I mean, and you know what? I could like use my CPAP in there by like with no judgment. Like no one's like just I could choose whether to snore or sleep in silence that night and just like look like Darth Vader with like no one like that shyness of just like
Before Top Chef, I had no idea that so many people use CPAPs.
Oh yeah.
We put all the CPAP users in one room.
I
They
was in
were
the CPAP.
all
I was in the
you were
CPAP user room, and I wasn't out of CPAP. But they were like, I remember Tyler making a comment at some point. He's like, "You're gonna be like." He's just like,
Yeah.
"You're just younger than us."
Give it time.
You know
Are you
what?
on a
I
CPAP
went.
now, Joe?
I was, and then I got. I went to like one of
Oh, you
those
did
nose
the
places. I did the reverse. Where they shove a balloon up your nose and then they break your nose from the inside out.
Oh, that seems fun.
Oh my god.
It's the
Holy
best
moly.
thing I've ever done. I could not
Wow.
recommend it more. If you're a CPAP
Okay.
guy, change your life, bro. Change your life.
Oh,
It hurts
I
like hell.
might. I okay.
It hurts like hell.
Such a dichotomy of a okay.
Right, that's something to think about, you know?
That's an endorsement. That is an endorsement.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, change my
I've never
dad did
thought
it. And then he was like, "You got to do it. It's the best thing." And I did it, and I've never looked back, man.
Yeah.
Putting you on something here.
So, Tristen, another thing that we've talked about caused a little bit of controversy, but we talked about is Michelin racist or cuisinist? Because so many amazing chefs, amazing cuisines, and amazing restaurants have not gotten the same recognition as traditional European based fine dining. What is your take on that?
I think that we are trained to not look at Caribbean food, African food. I mean, just certain cultures with a GDP that we don't really love. We don't look at that as food that is, of the same value. And I mean, if we take it back, right, like at a point, Michelin didn't respect Japanese food. It took them forever to allow Japanese food to go in because the service is completely different, right? Like you're handing somebody something with your hand and like there isn't all the like table settings, there isn't the same wine service, there isn't like the guy with his hand behind his back standing next to you being silent, like creepy wise. People have this had this misconception of if you eat it with your hands, then it isn't Michelin. If you eat it with some sticks, it's not Michelin. If the origin of this food comes out of a to-go box or on a banana leaf, it's not Michelin. And I think that as we are slowly making more and more waves, I think we're being taken more seriously, but still slightly being held back to the fear of how much further can I take it and still, you know, be taken seriously. We're doing great at the upscale casual now. Like
Yeah.
fantastic. Like a little bit, right? Like we went from like, I growing up, I never saw any sort of black food outside of a to-go box or at my house. You wanted Jamaican food, it came in a to-go box. You wanted
Hmm.
Trinidadian food, it came in a to-go box. You wanted something like it came in a to-go box. For so many people, Chinese food came in to-go boxes, like all of these things. And so, then we started working at places like at Rooster, where we were doing black food, but it was still pretty upscale casual, and like our fear was like we can't really go further than that right now, like
Hmm.
or can we, or will we be taken seriously? Like we're hitting it right now, and like people like our vibe and people like our food, but like will they take that seriously? In the end, are people saying like, man, I can't wait to take you on a date to an African restaurant, a Caribbean restaurant? Like, no, it's still like, I'm going to take you to a French restaurant, Italian restaurant, or a
Hmm.
steakhouse. And I think that there's still a little bit, and we still want to like take the leap a little further. But I mean, look, like I'll say like one of the biggest things that were robbed was Dakar not getting a Michelin star in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why? Why?
How? How?
How?
Make it make
Just
sense.
make it make
Make it make
sense.
sense.
How?
I've eaten there like 3, 4 times, and every time I'm like, "How did they not get a Michelin star?" Like, what?
I love that Michelin is changing, and it's becoming more open. There's Mexican, there's Thai, there's different Indian Michelin stars, right? I mean, I live in Texas. We have barbecue Michelin stars, you
Yeah.
know, which is, a whole nother conversation on it. And while I'm happy those changes are happening, I find it weird that like somewhere that I can wait in line outside and die of dehydration and then eat on a quarter sheet tray, a perfectly flat one, by the way. Love that part.
Too, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're like, I
like,
want to take this shit with me.
I will take that as a to go. Wrap
Yeah.
that up.
Those have never been warped.
That's
Mhm.
never. I don't know how they're doing it, but like,
Just rubbing the bottom of it. You're just like,
yeah,
You're like,
girl.
wait, really?
it's hot out here. Whew.
So many pavés I can make on this thing.
Mhm.
Like, like be served in a paper cup, be told that something is 86th on like, like
At 3
by
p.m. on a
at
Tuesday.
3 p.m. on a
Right.
Tuesday, but someone, at Dakar, like with custom made dishes and like procured everything, like spices being flown in, how like that can't win a Michelin star?
Yeah.
That's the
Local
thing. I
produce,
just think
local seafood.
Yeah.
there's no consistency of it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so all over the place. And it's just, and I think like, the interesting thing you said too, it's like now seeing like, I feel like the Indian food movement like blew up in New York and then it started to spread. And I think that's a lot of
Hmm.
food in the US, right? Like things blow up in
Yeah.
New York. And I think now with like, how that's blown up for African and Caribbean food in New York. And now I feel like, and New Orleans. And now, Indian food, I felt like that's blown up in Chicago the last 5 years of like the fine dining Indian movement, the
Yeah.
more higher end stuff. So I'm hoping, you know what I mean? We're only a couple of years behind getting some of these incredible restaurants. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to come to Chicago, Tristan, is what I'm saying, dude.
It's too
Because,
cold,
like,
bud. It's too
come
cold.
on, it's not that
I,
cold. It's
I live
not
a
that
tropics
cold.
lifestyle.
It's only
not
cold
that
8 months out of the
bro.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just get like
exactly.
a lot of coats.
Yeah. I went to Boston in the beginning of the year and I had to buy a coat to go up there. Like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've lived in
You lived in
Florida
New
and
York for
Texas
a
over.
long time.
I
Dude, you
did,
love
and
it
I
up
let
here.
that go. I
Just get over the cold. It's fine.
now I'm a
Right?
seasonal New York like visitor now.
Yeah, nice.
So is that part of what made you choose Houston? Because you're working on an upcoming restaurant that is slated to be in Houston. Is that part of the selection? Or what attracted you to Houston for the opening of your restaurant?
Yeah, I mean, so I moved to New York from Houston after meeting Marcus, and I loved it there. It was big, it's loud. I mean, the city smells good. And I mean, depending on what part of town you are, it's just a complete, like, authentic experience and lots of food between Indian, West African, obviously, like Hispanic, largest Vietnamese population outside of Vietnam. Like, it is, I mean, it's so good. And there's also no zoning there, so you can like literally open a restaurant wherever you want. But Houston has such diversity, and I have found such an amazing support system there
Mm.
of everyone just like, hey, come cook with me. Hey, come do this. Like, hey, let's do this mashup of Burmese and Trinidadian. Like there is no gatekeeping. There's none of that. Like it's just been really, really amazing. And I've worked in a lot of like amazing cities, like there's been Denver, there was the New York, there's been the Miami, there's all of that. And like all of those scenes were great. But I've just found like the amalgamation of everything I'm looking for without having to freeze my ass off in Chicago or New York has been Houston.
Wow. Because, yeah, when you were nominated for a Beard Award, you were in Miami at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to stay there for a while. And then, nope,
No,
on to the next.
the plan was always to come back to Houston. It's just like the support of Houston has been so amazing. So that's where I ended up wanting to be.
Another thing that I found wildly interesting, Tristen, is we know you from living like your mom was in the military. So you lived in over 18 countries. And that's even before you started traveling for working as a professional chef. So you have this immense, diverse background of experiencing and being fully immersed in all these different cultures. But your first restaurant job was at McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Mickey
Yeah.
D's, the Golden
Mick,
Arches.
that is.
What about that experience left an impact on you to make you want to continue and push farther in the culinary space?
Like McDonald's was my first place where like I realized what a rush was. Like there was this like cool synergy. And I'm also like a really big sports person, so like I loved the structure, like the team structure thing. We used to like race to see who can make the most amount of burgers because it was like a double-sided line. I just loved it. And so like the work ethic is what it really taught me. Like a sense of urgency is what it taught me. Like I took the word fast food, like the term fast food, very seriously. And so like to me it was like, how much faster can I make this double cheeseburger? And how fast can I clear this board? And I like fell in love with it. Like I volunteered to open, I volunteered to close, and I was in high school when I started this. So like I would ask to open for like an hour, go to school, and then come back later that night after like practice or something to like work again. Like just the work ethic. It was such an amazing thing. Like mise en place goes hard in McDonald's, right? Like everything's like
Mhm.
sectioned off, everything is timed, everything is like listed, like standards were amazing. And it just taught me a lot. It taught me a ton, and I was addicted.
You think they'd let us come back and like stage for a night? Like if we were like,
Oh,
let's go back and kick it. Like I think it was like I always like I and like maybe this is just like my own complete and total insanity. But you ever like go by a fast food place and you're like, I just want to come like banging out with these guys on a Friday night, like
yes.
crushing like a
Yes.
pickup window,
I
and
think
just like
about that for
I'm
Taco
like
Bell.
yeah, Taco
Taco
Bell
Bell
all the
is
time.
my
There's a Taco Bell at 95th and Ashland by my house, and I'm like, I want to slang a Saturday night with this crew so bad because I know it's just wild. I know there's mad shit going on. I know the drama that's happening inside these four walls is electric and elite, and I want to be a part of it for a night.
I
Just
want
let me
in.
stash. I'm gonna show up at the
I just
back
want to
door, just
hit.
knock. You know what I mean? Like it's 1982 and I'm in France.
I want to do the same, not necessarily fast food because like I don't know, I don't know, I feel like I still got it, you know. It's like I might be a little weak on my rapping, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I still kind of got it a little bit. But like I want to like challenge myself. Like I remember going to like Chelsea Market and watching the people from like Las Tocas Numero Uno and be like, can I handle
Yes.
that line? Like
Oh
that's what
yeah,
I
Oh,
want to do. From like tortillas to grilling to chopping to
yeah.
like everything, and just like having 100 people scream in your face saying like no onion, no this, like that's the line I want to work. Because every time I go there I was like,
oh.
you're all hired, just
Yeah.
every single one of you. Like I want to see if I have it on like that line and see if I can like bang it out on those.
So Tristan, another thing that I kind of want to get into a little bit with you. When we worked together, it was for Marcus Samuelsson. So I do feel like with Black chefs, all roads lead to Marcus at some point. Like all roads converge at the Marcus Samuelsson point, cross paths, but that's like the godfather of Black chefs in the
Yeah.
country. It's either have to work for him or something. It's just, it's a mandatory part of your career
Or
almost.
someone who worked
Eh,
for him. You know.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you, because if I'm not mistaken, you met Marcus when you competed on a TV show, right?
I did,
So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
So I'll first say that I was extremely lucky. So I saw Marcus a long time ago as a culinary student. And I was just like, oh, dope. It's a black dude. And he's like in a chef jacket and like not a white one either. Like it's like he has a beard. He like back then when he wanted to rock the goatee
Uh,
and like the connection.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's wearing like not a white chef, like, and he's making something other than soul food, which is crazy because now that's all he's obsessed with making. But like you know, like then he was making like Swedish food and then like barely touching African at that time, you know,
right.
and I thought it was amazing. So I looked up to it, and then you know watched him do Top Chef Masters and watched him do all of these things and the Bourdain specials on him and all of this stuff. And so I was like, man, I want to work for that man one day. And so the only reason why I even attempted to like go on the taste other than Nigella Lawson was Marcus. And then I got on there, and then I, you know, did decent, and then he offered me a job, and then I started working for him, and that was like such a crazy experience. So, you know, what he has done and what he wants to do for a lot of black chefs is super amazing. So there's like no reason why it doesn't, that pathway doesn't go, you know, through him some way. I mean, he's like, I don't know, like a Pokemon master. He's just got to like catch them all, release them, like send them off to battle other people. Like he just does that. I don't know. He's just got this way. I mean, he calls me still and he's like, all right, who's the next one?
Yes, I
Who do
told
I go?
Joe we
Like,
Dude, I
who?
Adrienne literally said that to me yesterday. We were talking on the phone, and she's like, and I was like, what's up with that? It's just like, it seems like everybody. She's like, he literally just called me and be like, who's the next one? Like,
right.
who do I like? Where are they? I'm gonna go find
Who
them.
do I
You
need
know
to
what I
know
mean?
about?
Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get my Pokemon Go ball and I'm gonna get on
Yeah,
a plane.
exactly. And the sad part is like when I have to tell him, like, I was like, I think you have them all. And like,
He's like, I don't
and
have
then
a Charizard. Screaming on the
like,
phone. Like,
like
I
I
don't
was
know,
like,
chef.
man, like I think you have them all. And in a way, I'm like happy, and in another way, I was like, well, damn, we need more. I gotta go find
Right.
more too. Like,
That's crazy. I met Marcus when I was in culinary school and he did a talk. This was when ICE was still on 23rd Street. And he did a talk. I was in the work study program. And, it was so different. He was just starting to explore Ethiopian cuisine at that
yeah,
time. And it was so cool to see, like, wow, this guy is like a serious chef. He's black and, of African origin and has worked around the world. So he was pulling in all these different, worked in France, worked in Germany, worked on cruise ships. So he was bringing in all these really cool cultural influences. But I never thought that I would cross paths with him again until I was already living in Harlem. He won Top Chef Masters, and then Red Rooster was about to open. And I used to hang out at this little French bistro next door.
Chez
And I was
Lucien.
like, yep. And there was construction was happening on the space that Red Rooster was in. And I used to go to the 24-hour Planet Fitness across the street and have a beer at Chez Lucien. And I was like, well, nobody's manning the construction door. Let me just walk around here and see what's going on. And then I found out who the chef was who was going to be opening it. And I was like, oh my God, that's that guy that I met. This is so awesome. And it's only a few blocks from my house. Why am I going all the way to Midtown and all this? So I was like, let me wait a couple years, get some more experience under my belt. And then hopefully, like, one day I'll be able to work here. And I never thought that I would be like the EC of that restaurant or, like working with such incredible people. That was the first time I worked in a kitchen that was black.
Yeah, same,
Honestly, it was the first time I worked in a kitchen of
same.
majority black people. And it was such a cool experience.
I mean, it changed the whole way how I like dealt with kitchens. It just, I turned from this like meek, yes, chef, no chef, absolutely chef. Let me clean this up for you, chef. Like this like meek individual to like healthily cursing out people with respect, like learning a whole new way. I mean, like, remember working with Kingsley? Like it
Oh
was
my
like
God.
I'd
Yes.
never worked with something like that. Like it's just this insane man.
He is like a ball of kinetic energy. And he had super long dreads and he would just get so wound up during service. And he would get everybody pumped up and he would just be like yelling and I was just like, what did I walk into? Like, I'm used to like quiet kitchens and then you've got the live music over here. So you're like screaming the orders, the tickets to each other because you literally can't hear. It's so loud in the
Coming from
dining room.
Laverne and N, where
Cannot
it's like
hear.
no one's spoken in hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
It got to the point, it was just like, okay, sleeves get rolled up, bandana gets tied on. I think for New Year's one year, I expoed in high heels just to prove that I could. It was
Just so you
crazy
could
times.
reach the high plates, or
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Pretty much. The top of the wood fire of the open hearth oven. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't
Yeah.
get up there.
Yeah. Adrienne would work saute and we'd have to reach, like, we had this like big chowder dish and it took like two like 14-inch saute pans, like one to cook it and then one to lit it. And when Adrienne would have to work saute, like someone would have to reach the top saute pans to bring it down for her every single time one came in.
I was like, just pass it to me. I don't need anything else, but I just need you to pass me
give me the
that pan,
pan,
please.
Just give me the pan.
Just give me the pan and maybe one for the next order too.
Right, because you know what else are you gonna do? Jump up on the cooktop to reach it? No. But yeah, those were crazy times. And Kingsley was he's such a dope individual who's worked at like Charlie Trotter's and worked
George
for
Blanc.
Marcus at Aquavit. Yeah, like he is a legend that nobody knows about. And he is just like one of the coolest people who taught me so much about like Caribbean cuisine when I got to work with him there. And then he would disappear in the middle of service and I'd have to go get
Gone.
him from the bar.
Gone. Just gone.
I'd be like,
Gone.
Chef, we're not done.
This man
He's like, well,
disappeared
I'm
for
done.
6 months on me. Like, I'll be there at 9 a.m. And I was like, where are you? And he's like, I'm in London. My man, you wouldn't believe what happened. Marcus called me. I had to go to London. I'll be right back. I'll be there next week. 6 months later, he's just like,
Oh man, he was like a culinary mercenary. I love
yeah.
him.
But yeah, it was a cool
Um,
kitchen. St. Lucian, it was tons of Africans. I mean, I
yep.
did Ramadan with people. Like it was it
Yeah.
was it was such a kitchen, right? Like,
Yeah, we used to do iftar meals for the staff who was
yeah,
observing Ramadan so they could take it's like, okay, all sous chefs cover a station so the people who have been observing Ramadan can go downstairs and have a meal together. Yeah, that's such a cool cultural experience. And I think you're right. I hadn't thought about how quiet and meek and like intense I was before, but this was a place where like that intensity could be like said out loud. And I remember like, yeah, tie on that bandana, jump up and down, scream orders at people, run up and down the line,
yeah.
jump on fry. Wow, crazy times. All right, Tristen, there is a segment that we cannot skip no matter who the guest is. And this is one of me and Joe's favorite segments. We like to call this one Walk In Confession. So we know the Tristen Epps that worked in all these fabulous Michelin starred restaurants. We know the Tristen Epps that won Top Chef. But Tristen Epps, as a youngin', give us a walk in confession, something that you have not told anybody.
There is also Tristen Epps, the thief, and Tristen Epps, the manipulator of reservations. So I don't think it's like this anymore, but back in the day, like as a line cook, you weren't like allowed to touch protein. Like it was like only sous chefs and the chefs like because they were too afraid to like mess it up or anything like that. And you're like, well, how am I going to
Mm-hmm.
learn to butcher fish if I can't touch it? Right?
Right.
Like only the sous chefs broke down lobsters and all this. And it's funny because at Rooster we just gave it to like you do it. I don't want to touch these lobsters. Like please anybody do it. So I was like, man, how am I going to get better? So from like every job until I was basically a manager, I used to steal all my prep. Like I would like steal prep to take it home and do it so I didn't have to like waste like picking peas, or I would steal fish, like whole fish, to like learn how to break it down and then try to bring it back in, or whatever I could. And I did that pretty much until I got caught coming out of a job, and I just had lamb racks and fava beans and morels and all sorts of stuff in my backpack. And then I got caught at the like door because they would like sometimes do random bag checks walking out of this resort. And I had to like explain that I wasn't like I was gonna bring it back. Like I
Ah,
promise I'm gonna bring it back.
You gotta count the boats. I'm gonna bring it all back. I'm gonna bring it
Like
all back.
right.
I'm just like in the shits for tomorrow. This is like how I just need to do this. And so like I had to sit in this like in HR, and I had to do all these things of just like me continuing to explain that like I can't fuck up tomorrow. I have to get my show plates up, like all these. I can't sit there and pick fava beans and then shell them twice. Like
Having to sit in HR and explain that you're not a bad person, that you're just a shitty line cook is like fucking wild level stuff right there.
yeah,
Yes. Like, I promise I'm not stealing. These fava beans are coming back just out of the pod and out of their skin tomorrow.
yeah. But I think my worst confession, I'll give you a twofer really quick, is I think my 21st birthday, I was working and I really I needed to leave. I wanted to go drink. Let's be real. I was turning 24, 21. I wanted to go. Like we still had tables. I knew the day before, like we were getting like tables. So I actually went into Open Table booked the last 10 tables myself so that we wouldn't have any reservations, so I could leave earlier. I had to make all of this stuffing for this quail that we were doing, made the quail stuffing, like a big batch, didn't cool it down on sheet trays, just put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, manipulated the system, walked out, went and got drunk. And then the next day there was a thermometer in the stuffing. It was still at 100 degrees. They found out that like I was the one who manipulated the system because all of a sudden, 10 tables canceled. Because stupidly, I used my friend's name as the reservation, and then he came in to dinner the next day under his own name, and so I was like, yeah, so I got caught.
They were like, "Why
Oh,
did you cancel 10 reservations yesterday?"
he's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Knowing that now, that's detrimental. But like,
Yeah. Bro, can you imagine
Oh.
if someone that did that to you now? Can you imagine a line cook doing that to you now?
I mean, after the initial, like, I'd kill them, but I'd also be like, fair play. But we also charge for reservations now, so like,
True. Can't really do
Yeah,
that
at least
nowadays.
they're real committed now. Now if they're
Yeah,
doing it,
they're
they're like,
super
I'm gonna eat like $500 on this just to go out early on my birthday. It's like,
yeah,
hey, you know,
Yeah,
Gen Z,
Ooh.
they don't party like we partied, so
No.
that's different, man. They're not committed to the game like we were.
no, but they will pay $500 to not work. I do believe that part.
Oh God, we got 2, and those are both.
Bangers,
Oh
absolute
man,
bangers.
Tristan.
That's incredible, dude.
Whew, thank you
Thank
for
you so
sharing
much,
that.
man. Thanks for your
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Thanks for the stories. It was great chopping it up with you, dude.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Love the show.
That's it for this episode of The Chef's Cut. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening, especially if you're watching us on YouTube, where you can get full-length videos of every episode. And be sure to follow us at Chef's Cut Pod on IG. For Joe Flam, I'm Adrienne Cheatham, and this has been The Chef's Cut, Life Beyond the Pass.